Hello and happy Friday. Welcome to Empowering Self and Soul Esteem Sessions. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I want to dive in and talk about how do we navigate our relationships, our family relationships, our personal relationships, our friendships, when we're going through cycles of personal change. We're evolving, we're growing, we're expanding. And if you're someone who has been through this, it gets really tricky because the people around us in our life don't always want us to change. They don't get it. It starts to make them think about, like, wow, like, who am I then? Like, am I happy in what I'm doing? Do I need to think about changing my work or moving home or something like that? So I want to share with you how this is really tricky to navigate, because not only are we personally changing and dealing with our own feelings, our own emotions, learning new vocabulary, new ways of being personally, the people in our lives around us also are being affected by the change that's going on within us, whether we realize it or not. And depending on how we're met by them, it can add another element of not feeling seen, not being being understood. And through these transitions, often I have found personally that I don't even have the right way to communicate. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how to put into words what's going on for me right now. Or, it's very, very difficult in our own world, never mind, in terms of having everyone around us understand. And what can happen because of that, and it's not unique to any one of us. We all go through this, unless it's, we're in a community whereby we are loved no matter what, we're accepted no matter what. We are met with these challenges in terms of our own personal change and how it changes everything around us, how our change of ways of being, of what we want. Because, as parents, when we're in a relationship also, and in families, we learn not to be so selfish enough to just make decisions for what's right for us. We have to consider everyone else as well. And this is where it gets really tricky, because we've spoken about this, we are always being guided. We know the intuitive hits that we get inform us that we've moved on, we're in the wrong place now, we need to go over there, when we've been looking over here for so long. And many reasons, many elements come in the way to block our view to making that happen, because we begin to worry that we're not financially secure enough to do that, whether it's to change work or leave a relationship or move or whatever it is. It could be finances that come into play that kind of have us believe that we can't do that just yet. It could be our own confidence, our own self-confidence, in that we don't feel quite in alignment. We're not strong enough or brave enough to make that happen just yet. It could be many reasons. So what happens is we stall ourselves. We sit and we wait for a while, as in wait time-wise, until another time that feels more appropriate or easier. And often what happens is that ideal time actually doesn't really come around at all, does it? Or it comes too late. We've already kind of got to a point where something really is really desperate, and it could be to do with our health, it could be a relationship, anything. So we put things off because we are aware energetically that so many things are at stake. Things are going to need to change, and we're not always ready. We slow down the process. And that's the story of my life. Slowing down the process, even though I've had the intuitive hits, even though I know better, taking the easy route rather, not putting off that diet, whatever it is, because it's easier to make another decision right now because there's so much going on that I actually I can't deal with that right now. That's the kind of, there are many payoffs, many reasons, many excuses that we give ourselves not to create change, not to trust our gut, our intuition, to make change. And, we all have excuses, and sometimes these excuses can go on for years and years and years and years. And how do we navigate those relationships with our family, with our friends, with our loved ones, with our children, when we are ready to make change, when it's finally upon us, when we may not even realize it, but we're in it, we're in the thick of it, things are happening. It could be something very difficult to navigate emotionally, and yet it could be something that is just overwhelmingly wonderful. It affects everyone in our lives. It affects everyone around us. And sometimes we are cheered on. Sometimes it is celebrated. Sometimes the people around us are all for it. And other times it's the reaction that we receive. Sometimes we are met with confusion, uncertainty, judgment. And this is when it gets really difficult. I was divorced. I got divorced years ago. I was married before. I'm married now, but in my first marriage, it took me a lot of years. When I said about slowing things down, because I was unsure, I was feeling it intuitively. It was wrong. It was off, but I didn't feel confident enough. Everything we just spoke about to let go. It literally took me a good 3 years for it to happen. And it wasn't actually me that instigated it in the end. It was my ex-husband, because it was time. It was beyond time. And he knew I didn't have the courage to do it. He couldn't allow it to go on anymore for himself. It had gone on way too long. So I'm mentioning this because I obviously then went back to my family. I was 30, almost 30 at the time. 30 at the time. Went to my family and friends and communicated, and our friends as a couple, and obviously had to share the news, and was met with sadness, a lot of contemplation. Isn't it interesting that what happens when we change, something happens, we bring a change to the space, whether it's illness, whatever it is, it affects the other person. And what I saw was not only obviously my immediate family who care for me and who love me and love my ex-husband, it brings about a moment, an experience for the people in our lives of reflection, of inner reflection of their own lives. And it's something, same with illness, whether they're ready for it or not, it does affect them, and it makes it a reality. It makes it very urgent. And this is exactly what happened to me, to the point that I had a very good friend who came to me from years. He was actually a friend of my parents, and he came to me and he began to question his own life, because this does when people change, doesn't it? And we see people move away, people move out of our life. It makes us think about, what is it that we want now? Who are we? Who am I? What am I going to do now? Like, gosh, wow, that's really brave. I didn't even realize something was actually going on. People who are very, very seriously ill and how they cope with that. And actually it's the people around them that don't cope with it as well as they personally do. So what is that? What is that profound experience, that profound change that comes about that might take us several years to come to terms with before we can actually make change. And the rumblings that it can cause within the psychic energy around us and the families and the people in our lives, it does affect them. And how long does it affect them before they'll speak up or express how they feel about it? This is a process, and it can take years and years and years, not only for an individual to change and bring about change, but the people around them to come to terms with it and speak about it and accept it. And what I have seen and have experienced is, when we've spoken about it before, when we live in the lower chakras of the body, when we're living from those the elements, the level of consciousness whereby we're living from the lower chakras, which is all about survival, which is to do with one-on-one relationships, our family, our tribe. When we are very much day to day living from a place of that influence. The tribe, imagine the tribe, when someone wants to leave the tribe, it's not encouraged. It's not encouraged. It's safe within the tribe. To go outside of the tribe is a big deal because it's not safe out there. It's easier to stay within your comfort zone, to stay with what you know, where we can take care of you and keep an eye on you. And you know, when someone is on the edge of the tribe and leaving the tribe, doing something different to what we've always known, what's uncomfortable for those of us in the tribe, it challenges who we are. And some people are very, very encouraging of that person to go out and get on with their life, as scary as it may be. And some people don't deal with it very well. And what's true is, the longer we sit with it and we process it, and the years that go by before we finally accept something, we're giving weight to it as well as time waiting to it. We're giving density to it, gravitas. We are holding it in our energy, literally. It's a low energy vibration. But the sooner we can come to accept that someone is in a process and needs to move on, and we can allow them to authentically move forward and be who they are, then we're not giving it gravitas. We're really lightening the way that we feel about them, and really allowing ourselves to be more present with them, rather than putting our opinions and judgments on them. It's an opportunity for us to see and be encouraged and, wow, inspired by them, and really give them the freedom to be authentic and choose to move forward in their life, because it's their life. It's their life. So what I want to bring about here is the perspective of, if we look at how we are in our relationships, and how being in that process of change, knowing that we're ready to change, we're ready to, I don't want to use words like up-level our life. When we're ready to really be authentic and begin to live authentically from the heart, we have an opportunity to look at our relationships, and rather than pray and wish that they would understand us, and come from a place of, you don't understand me, is like, how, not only am I in the process of change, but how do I up-level? How do I develop my ways of communicating so that I can really have them understand better what's going on for me? And if I don't know what's going on for me, also be authentically honest about sharing that actually I don't actually know what's going on for me right now. All I know is that I'm I need to be quiet. I'm in a process of change, and I just would like for you to just bear with me and not judge me during this time. And, you know, there are many, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. But what I want to propose to you is that when we are in that process of change, it is having an effect on everyone around us. It's an opportunity for other people also to see, to be inspired. But we get to not put our change onto them, you know, and when they're going through change as well, we get to just step back a little bit and be with them and give them the space. And when we look at things from a much higher kind of a mystical perspective, and I say this because here's the thing, everything is about relationship. I've mentioned this in the previous sessions. Everything is about relationship. And we have come here to be in relationship with each other. And when something is difficult, it's because we get to move through it. We get to work with it and look at how are we going to work through this together, because the reason we have a challenge is for this exact reason. It's a gift. It's what we came here to work on. And in a personal relationship, in a friendship, in a child-parent relationship, whatever it is, this is a perfect opportunity to see each other in an unattached way, from a place of love for them. So when someone is challenging me about my process and my change, like this is me changing and I don't even know what's going on for me, but I would like you to just accept me for who I am, rather than judging them for judging me. Just like accept that this is their process, this is where they're at. They might not be ready to hear this, but I am ready and I'm all in on this, because I know in my heart intuitively it's time for me. And I want us to see this from a mystical lens, because true forward movement, and it doesn't happen here with gravity, with gravitas in this on this planet that we have. It's all against us. Healing, true forward movement doesn't come from thinking and trying to reason, like why, and judgment, and why are you doing this, and I don't understand, and trying to understand, and putting all this reasoning mentality into understanding why someone is changing and wants to leave the tribe. We're better off unattaching and allowing them to come up with, to be in this experience for them wholly, authentically, whether it's my relationship with someone going through this, or whether it's someone else coming through in this process, you know, I'm in the process and they're judging me, or not, you know, they're, my experience is that I feel I can't go there, I can't do this because they are judging me. No, I get to unattach and understand that of course they don't want me to leave the tribe. But the truth is, I have to just unattach from how they feel and not take it personally. I have to be in this process for me. And why is it important that we do that? Because when we can unattach from the other person's energy around it, we can speed up the process so much faster. Our healing, our decision making, our forward action will happen so much faster when we don't have the attachment to the opinions of other people. And I know that's harder. That's hard, and it's harder than it sounds. And this is why community, being around new people, sometimes who are going to see us from a different place, from a different level of consciousness, is really, really important. And it's very hard when we don't have those people in our lives, for sure. So what often happens during these processes, and I'm not saying that we all have to leave our partners, what I'm saying is that we get to look at doing things differently and look to new influences to come into our life to support us with the heartfelt connection, the next place where we need to be. Who is it we need to hang out with more? Who do we need to be open to influence from? New friends, a new work environment, whatever it is. It's a sure sign that something new needs to come into your life, and more new things are going to come into your life the more you're willing to let go of the old. Okay, and letting go of a cycle and allowing in a new cycle to begin, it's like a flow, it's a process. So holding on to being somebody that you always were, or someone for someone else, is an old cycle, an old way of being. The natural course in life is to move through that and move into another cycle. And just be aware that these cycles are only ever slowed down because we're staying attached to something that's not allowing us to freely flow forward. So I bring that awareness into your thoughts for this weekend, because it's really powerful. When you look back at your life, there are cycles, and when you can see that you held on to something for so long, yes, you had to process it, but at some point you get to trust your intuition, trust timing, divine timing, and allow forward movement to just take you to the next stage, the next chapter in life. And I want to read you something really beautiful. I'm going to leave you with this. This is during that 3-4 years that I mentioned, when I was aware that my relationship was coming to an end with my first husband, but I didn't have the courage to go there. I was young. And I met a girl. I was working in the film business as a hair and makeup artist, and I met a guy. I ended up staying through a friend of a friend. I was on a film in Manchester in the north of England. I stayed with a girl, friend of a friend, who was lovely, and she was on her own. I rented a room in her house, and she was really sweet, and we had this friendship connection. Never met her before, and she gave me this poem, and I was about 28 at the time. It's called Reason, Season, Lifetime. I was about 28 at the time, or 27, and I knew that this chapter of my life was ending with my ex-husband, and I didn't know how to express it. I was scared of how I felt. And this poem just meant so much to me, and I realized how much sense it makes, actually. But I didn't really realize it. I couldn't ingest it at the time. Now it makes so much sense to me. And I'll talk about it another time, but the way that we have evolved from the 1950s, everything has been coming, and I've definitely been part of this generation of the self-awareness, of the new age. I'm definitely, part of that generation. And because this was in me, I knew this, and it was like I was piecing all the bits together. And it took me years and years and years to piece it together, but now it's profoundly brilliant, I think, this. I know it to be profoundly brilliant, because it speaks to relationship. It speaks to the cycles of life. It's powerful. I'm going to read this to you. Reason, season, lifetime. People always come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. When you figure out which it is, you know exactly what to do. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need you have expressed outwardly or inwardly. They have come to assist you through a difficulty, or to provide you with guidance and support, to aid you physically, emotionally, or even spiritually. They may seem like a godsend to you, and they are. They are there for a reason. You need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part or at an inconvenient time, this person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die, sometimes they just walk away. Sometimes they act up or out of and force you to make a stand. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire fulfilled. Their work is done in our life. The prayer you sent up has been answered. Now it is time to move on. Then we move on to the next one. When people come into your life for a season, it is because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They may bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something that you have never done. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. Believe it, it is real, but only for a season. And like spring turns to summer and summer to fall, the season eventually ends. Lifetime relationships teach lifetime lessons. Those things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lesson, love the person, people anyway, and put what you have learned to use in all other relationships and areas of your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. Thank you for being part of my life. By Brian A. Drew Chalker. Isn't that beautiful? To see relationships being there for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. That's life. That's why we're here. Everything is a cycle. And the more consciousness and awareness, raising of an awareness, presence we bring to the absolute joy and presence of the people in our lives, and for them to really profoundly understand why they are in our life, is just everything. It's magical. It's absolutely magical. And our soul contracts, our sacred contracts, the reasons why we have particular relationships in our life and particular struggles in our life in relationship is powerful. If we lean into them and really, truly want to understand what they're bringing, why they are with us, and want to support the other person with just being there for them, because we are here also, we're not here for ourselves, we're also here for each other. We are absolutely here for each other. We agreed to be here. These are contracts. So let's just embrace that. And let's open our arms and just welcome each and every challenge and opportunity we have to face something and move through it and grow through it, because it will elevate our consciousness and our life so much so much more smoothly. And that is a choice we have. We don't have to brush things under the carpet and hope they'll go away. No, we get to move through them and learn from them and grow. And the sooner we do that, the sooner we can be present and just enjoy the precious present and love and authenticity of the people that we get to be within our life. It is a gift. It is a pleasure to be here. So let's embrace it. Okay, so just some thoughts as you go into your weekend. So have a wonderful Friday. I shall see you next Friday for the Empowering Self and Soul Esteem sessions. And in the link you will see, in the description below, you will see the link to this. You can print it out, I believe. You can find it anywhere online. And there's a link to the website also, where you'll find lots of ways and offerings that I have in ways in which I can support you with really working on your self-esteem, your soul esteem, your presence, your unique opportunity in your life to really give back and be there for other people in your life. It's just such a pleasure to be here and to support you. All right, have an amazing weekend. Lots of love. See you next Friday. Bye for now.